48 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. That's right. We've got that right. And I am delighted to welcome to Good Morning Monterey Bay, Robynn Smith. Robynn is a local artist here. She's been part of the art scene for many, many years. And she was former head of the art department at Monterey Peninsula College. She teaches workshops out of her studio, which is the Blue Mouse Studio in Aptos. She's a painter and a printmaker. Hey, Robynn, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Good to have you with us. The event that is coming up is Print Day in May, is something that you started, I believe.
Yes, I started it at Monterey Peninsula College 15 years ago. This is our 15th anniversary.
How wonderful to start something and see it's got legs.
Yeah, and well after I'm gone, so it's great.
And also, it's not only got legs locally, it has legs internationally, I believe.
Yes, we have, the event is an event that takes place over 24 hours, kind of like watching the ball drop on New Year's Eve. So printmakers around the world begin printing on their May 7th, and they print any time within that 24-hour period. And what happens is by posting on social media and on our blog, then all of these printmakers are printing together. That is the idea. And so we have actually printmakers on 7 continents printing.
Wow.
We have probably 100 countries represented and tens of thousands of printmakers all over the world.
What's the origin of printmaking?
Of printmaking, well, printmaking itself became, you could argue that the first cave paintings are prints. We don't really know, but printing basically is taking a mark from one surface and using pressure, applying it to another surface. But printmaking as we know it really began with the printing press. And that was, the Gutenberg press, which was made basically to print Bibles.
That's right, because I think if I looked it up, I was on this date, that in 1611 that the King James Version of the Bible was published for the first time in London. So, of course, it was like 50 years before that it was printed in itself.
Right. Well, that's fabulous. I didn't know that we were celebrating that anniversary as well.
And so then that was so that was what you taught at Monterey Peninsula art at the art department at the college?
I taught a lot of things, but yeah, I ran the printmaking program, taught print classes, painting, drawing, two-dimensional design, color fundamentals. I basically ran the two-dimensional fine arts program. And then, of course, we had fabulous other instructors who I worked with, most of whom I had hired over the years. I worked there almost 30 years.
Wow, that must have been difficult to leave that behind.
Yeah, I love my colleagues, I love the students, but now I get to be a full-time artist. And I have to say I retired in May or June 2018, so the timing was perfect. I had a year and a half before a lockdown, and I didn't have to teach on Zoom because teaching printmaking over Zoom is difficult.
Did you find having all of the time during lockdown, was that a time when artists become more, you became more reflective? Were you more productive with your artwork?
I wouldn't say I was more productive. I was productive in a different way. But I'm one of those artists who can't stop working. I just am working all the time. So I worked through 30 years of full-time teaching, and then I worked through lockdown. But lockdown was very difficult for many artists because we couldn't concentrate. I still can't read a book. I really lost a lot of concentration out of worry and fear and loss and grief. And I think it was interesting because so many art supply stores and art supply houses were going crazy because everybody was crafting. And people were saying, wow, you've got so much time. This must be amazing. You can craft all you want. Well, people who aren't necessarily artists, who were looking for a hobby, did great. Just like, my husband's hobby became, making Lego kits. He loved it. But an artist who's a professional artist, we had the same kind of trouble as everybody else in terms of concentration and lack of materials and lack of connection. So it really affected artists in a different way than most people thought.
Oh, okay. Now, if folks want to get involved with this, is there a charge, or what do they have to do to actually get involved?
Absolutely free, totally inclusive. My suggestion is to go to www.printdayinmay.com. We have a wonderful website. It gives you all the information you need. On the very first homepage, it tells you 4 different ways to participate, all free. And it's everything from registering on our website, and if you register on the website, we get to count you officially, which is good for us. We get to count your country, which is good for us. And you get 4 or 5 newsletters a year, and you can participate in a participants page, which allows you to be found by other printmakers and allows you to find other printmakers, which is helpful. And let's say you're going to be traveling in Serbia and you want to know who's making etchings in Serbia, you can find out. But there are other ways to go, too. You can just look us up on Instagram or Facebook. You can post to our blog on our website, or you can just post on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, MySpace.
Oh, wow, you're everywhere.
And then you can also just print and know that you're doing that with tens of thousands of printmakers across the globe. Now, if you choose to post on our pages, particularly on Instagram and Facebook, and you can also join our Facebook group, then you can also do what's called our hashtag campaign. We have many, many, many sponsors. And these sponsors, everything from Dick Blick Art Materials to local community centers like the Sonoma Community Center and many in between, you can hashtag, that we have hashtags that are listed on our sponsors page on the website. You can hashtag your piece that you put up with any number of these hashtags, and then the day after the event, our sponsors look at everything it's tagged, and they select winners, and you can get prizes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
That's great.
So we have a studio in Portugal, Alvario Studio, that is giving away a month-long residency in Portugal.
Well, excuse me.
We have Cranfield Colors in Wales, which is one of our great sponsors. Speedball Art was our first sponsor 5 years ago. We've got sponsors specific to Australia in Melbourne Etching Supplies. We've got McLean's Printmaking in Oregon. I mean, we've got a lot of sponsors, and they're all giving away wonderful items or events, like ZMA's Printmaking in Massachusetts is giving away online classes. So it's pretty wonderful.
I'd say it's absolutely fabulous, and then it's free. That's even better. So it's printdayinmay. Is it .com or .org?
.com.
.com. You can take it from there, follow what you need to be doing, and get involved. Fabulous organization. Well done. I think that's great. 15 years, and look at that. It's on all 7 continents. That's marvelous.
Yes, we have penguins making footprints in Antarctica.
Lovely stuff. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Robyn. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it as well.
Okay, that is Robynn Smith, local artist, Blue Mouse Studios in Aptos. 7:57. This is Good Morning Monterey Bay. Here is Bill with your traffic.
All right, and just for our listeners' benefit, that website that Robyn and Rosemary were discussing is linked now on the Facebook page for Good Morning Monterey Bay. So if you didn't write it down and you want to find it, just go to our page. You'll be able to find everything you want.